Adoption Journey Podcast. I am your host, Tarsha Smith, and thank you all so much for listening to yet another adoption podcast. And today in the building, I am super excited to have not one, but two adoptees and their brothers, and they have two stories, y'all. So we might have to put our seatbelts on for this one. I don't know. We'll find out together. I am going to let them introduce themselves and shout out their podcast at the same time. Ronnie.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I am Ronnie Jacobs, co-host of Firepit Conversations.
I'm Aaron. I'm the other co-host of Firepit Conversations.
All
and
right.
We're brothers.
Yes.
And we're excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, so my first question is going to be to both of you. I want to know, how old were you when you found out that you were adopted?
Ooh, I guess I can start.
Okay.
I knew my whole life that I was adopted. I mean, as far as I can remember, kindergarten, 6, 7 years old, I knew that I was adopted. I do have an older brother that I grew up with. And so with that, yeah. And if you see us, we're totally different. So I put 2 and 2 together. So
Okay. And Ronnie?
I found
Bobby,
out.
Ricky and Mike, I'm sorry.
Hey. So I am completely the opposite of Aaron. I found out on my 33rd birthday.
Shut up.
On the birthday.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. So were you both adopted as babies?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Aaron,
All right.
you said that you knew early
Mm-hmm.
and you knew all your life. Was there a conversation, or did you just kind of piece it together? I don't look like anybody.
Yeah, I kind of pieced it together. But along with that, I did ask questions, and my mother was very open with me about it.
Okay.
So, I had any questions. I knew I had an older brother too. So it was
Okay.
like, oh yeah, I got an older brother. So that what is all the information I had. My mom actually has like a scrapbook that shows like the sweater I came home in. So yeah, so
Okay, so she was open, mom and dad, or was it just mom?
just
and
mainly my mother.
Okay.
Mainly raised by my mother.
So you knew early, open conversation about being adopted, so no shock.
No shock.
Ronnie, sir.
Buckle up. Buckle up.
Okay,
Buckle
we're
up.
buckling up. Okay, were you also adopted as a baby
Yes.
as well? Okay,
Yeah.
hold on, no, real quick. Who's the oldest, Ronnie or Aaron?
Me,
Okay,
Ronnie.
you're the oldest. Okay, this is the brother you knew about, Aaron.
Yes.
He was, okay, in your non-identifying information, I take it?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, Ronnie, all right, I'm buckled up.
You buckled up? So, long story short,
Don't make it long story short.
Okay. So, full
Give me the
story.
story. Give me the tea.
So, back in 2020, so this is in the midst of COVID.
Okay.
Ancestry always does a sale around the holidays,
Yeah.
always. So, I got an ancestry test around Father's Day. Okay. So, took the test, spit in the tube, sent it off. Really kind of forgot about it. And then my birthday is...
Time out. What made you take the test?
So it's funny. Aaron and I both get this a lot. People oftentimes think that we are mixed with something. Our hair texture is looser curls. People say we're light skinned. So we've talked about this, but we've always gotten this like, oh, you must be Puerto Rican, or you must be this, or you must be that. And so I was just like, no, like my dad is super, super chocolatey, and my mom is kind of like a light brown lady. So I'm like, no, I just kind of a good mixture between the two of them. But I wanted to prove the naysayers wrong.
Okay, but there's no adoption conversation happening in your house.
Not one.
Not a one.
Not a one.
Not a nothing. Okay,
Not
go
a
ahead.
Nothing. I am in Orlando for my birthday. for my birthday. That's where I found out at some mall. But anyways, so I'm in Orlando. It's my partner and then a group of our friends. We're all down there, and we had just went jet skiing, had an amazing time jet skiing, and one of my homegirls who was with us, she had the jet ski threw her in the water. So she came up from the water and her hair was still in the water, her shades in the water,
Not
her
the hair still in the water.
everything. So she went in Black Ariel and she came out Cleo from Set It Off, right? So true story, no lie. And so she was like, well, we got dinner tonight. Like, we got to go find me another wig. So we were trying to find like a wig shop or whatever. We found like the mall that had a wig shop in it. Do not know the name of the mall, but sitting in the parking lot of the mall, I'm like, listen, I'm tired because we were getting ready to go ATVing. So I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to just sit in the truck and I'm going to wait for you all to come back. In the midst of me sitting in the truck on my birthday, I get the email from Ancestry that says, your results are in. And I look it up and it says matches. And at the very top, as if anyone's taken Ancestry, it goes from like your closest matches at the top, and then your fourth, fifth, sixth cousins twice removed on the bottom of the list. And so the very, very top, it has this parent-child relationship.
Parent-child, that's close.
Very. And I looked at the picture, saw
like,
the
that's
name.
not mama.
I said, that's not my mom at all. And then right under her, it says immediate relationship, and it shows this guy. And I said, yeah, never seen him a day in my life either. Not dealing with this today. Scroll up and just go ATV in.
Okay. So you never even told your parents that hey, I'm going to take this DNA test. You just took it.
No, I did tell them. So, but my parents are older. When they got me, I remember always saying when they had me, they were in their early mid 40s, right? So they're older. And this was just 3 years ago. So I think they didn't kind of put two and two together that it could potentially tell me. I don't know why
not. This DNA.
They almost 80. My mom will be 80 next month. So
DNA was the same when she was 2 as it is now. Okay.
Yeah, but I think they was just thinking like it made the connections of, this is your heritage, your DNA, your genetic makeup. So that was that. And we, I didn't tell anybody for the rest of the weekend.
Okay. So you take this, you go ATVing. Did we find my girl a wig? She good.
We did find her a wig.
It was good for the weekend. Okay.
Good for the weekend. So we went ATVing. We went to Texas de Brazil for dinner.
So you just living your best life.
Living my best ignorant life.
Email in your phone.
Yeah.
And not telling anybody. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron, I'm going to get to you in a minute because he's got the tea at the moment. Hold on. So when did we get back to the email?
So my birthday, I'm trying to think. So my birthday was that Saturday. That Sunday night. So my dad's birthday is 3 days after mine.
Okay.
So typically we kind of argue or fuss and fight about who's going to take who out to dinner because our birthdays are so close together. So we ended up taking my parents out to dinner, and I took a screenshot of the results or the connections, and I sent it to my partner. I said, hey, I just sent you a text message. Don't check it. I sent it to him at dinner. We were at the table. I said, I just sent you a message. Don't check it until we get in the car.
I'm checking it right now.
But he did it. He did not. He checked it in the car, and he was the first person I told.
And what did he say?
He was very shocked, and we just kind of rode home like, okay.
At what point did you start asking the questions?
So I text.
Oh, no, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you reach out to people first? Did you ask questions?
So I'm very inquisitive. I gotta know. I had to put
Most
it together.
Most adoptees are.
Right. So I was like, okay. So I messaged Aaron because on the Ancestry app, it's like social media. You can put your picture up there. You can put what hometown you're from, and you can message people.
Okay, pause. Aaron, you get this message.
Okay. I get his message and I'm like, and it shows me the relationship too.
Had you
So
taken the DNA test off as
yes,
well? Okay.
yes,
Just
I
so
took
people at
it.
home understand how this works.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I took mine. I want to say maybe a year before.
Now, what prompted you to take it?
The same thing. People calling me Puerto
They said
Rican.
y'all got Indian in your family. You're like, let me check.
Yeah, all of that. So I just wanted to really figure out what I was, and
You know how we do.
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so you get this message and
Oh yeah, I get the message, and I'm like, kind of looks like me, just a little bit.
okay.
There's some
a little bit.
similarities. So, we start messaging right back. I mean, it could have been maybe an hour at the longest before I messaged back. And we just held a conversation, exchanged phone numbers, and it just took off from there.
Do you realize very quickly within your conversation that you're brothers?
Oh yeah, it shows it on Ancestry. Yeah,
Oh, it
like
tells you. There's no
it shows.
question.
Oh yeah,
Okay. Hold on.
it will say parent relationship, like you have the same parents.
Okay, Ronnie. So now you got this brother and some new parents.
Right. So what did my
Oh,
what did my parents have to say when I told them what happened?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the tea.
Yeah. So I told them like a week later because I had to gather in person.
Okay.
My parents live maybe 5 minutes from me, so I had by that time I had talked to Aaron on the phone. I talked to our birth mother. I talked to our half sister.
Oh, time out. I need the conversation with the birth mother. How does she? Which one want to give me that?
Oh,
Aaron, I'm gonna let you go.
Aaron.
Oh man, so I had a conversation with her before she took the ancestry.
Prepped her.
Before,
okay.
But it said that I had a half sibling, and so finding out later that that's her daughter, that had no knowledge of the adoptions.
I'm sorry. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you, buckle up.
I did, but
we told y'all.
I only had one seatbelt. I needed two.
And a little overhead thing.
And a little overhead thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You needed it all.
So,
yes. Yeah.
See what happens when the family have all these secrets. See how it come out.
Right.
See how it comes out.
But Aaron, go ahead and finish.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Aaron, you gotta tell it though.
You gotta tell it.
All right, but so she reached out to me, our half sister Martina. She reached out to me and she was like, "Hey," says we have, we're half siblings. So we, I tell her the whole story. Hey, I was adopted at about 5 months. This is my birthday. I could tell you where I was born, everything. She was like, okay, I'm going to ask my mother. So she reached out to her mother and her mother said, yeah, that seems about right. I did give up a baby for adoption. Meaning one. I gave up a baby for adoption about around that time, around Christmas that time. So yes. Her mother reaches out to me. We talk for a little bit. She tells me how it's a possibility that she did give a baby up for adoption around that time and that she was going to take an ancestry test.
Okay, I just want to make sure that myself and the people at home got this straight.
Mm-hmm.
So you reach out to the birth mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, no, she kind of reached out to me. I reached out to her daughter, which would be our half sister.
Okay, yep. You find your half sister.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out, and she says she gave up a baby. At said time. She didn't know everybody was coming back.
She didn't know. She didn't know the okie doke was happening.
She didn't know.
Was happening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ronnie. We talked to mama and daddy. What happened?
So I first talked to the birth mom, and similar to his story, it was kind of like the one child type thing until like you ask the right questions. And then even then we're full siblings. We have the same, both of our parents, our birth parents are the same people. We share 100% DNA. So the way she prefaced it was more like, I told her something like, oh, my parents don't know that I know yet. And she was just like, oh, my children don't know either. The thing you gotta listen to are
Wait.
the new
I'm sorry. Hold on.
Yeah. Mhm.
What other children?
Ooh.
Her 3 other children that she has.
So she kept those 3, or
Correct.
did they come back too?
No, kept those.
Okay,
Raised
she
those.
kept those. She raised
Uh-huh.
those 3, and then
Raised those 3.
you 2 were given up.
Correct.
Now, I'm going to ask this question because there's somebody out there watching that's going to have this question. You guys are not twins, are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
We are a year apart though.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So she's like, yeah, my children don't know I put a child up for adoption either. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, were they put up for adoption too? She goes, that's a loaded question.
How, ma'am?
I think it's
not.
fair.
Fair.
I thought it was fair, but maybe not. And
no, it was.
no, and then she says, yeah, no, I raised 3 and I gave a son up for adoption.
She's still with the one. Okay.
With the one.
With the one.
Mind you, spoiler alert, I'd already talked to Aaron before this. So
But she didn't know that.
she didn't know.
Right.
So fast forward a few days later, I talk to my parents and I go to the house. I'm like, hey, mom, hey, dad, guess what? I got my ancestry results. And they're like, oh, well, what do they say? And I said, well, it says I'm this much % this. And it says I'm this much %
this
Oh,
African for
we
the
are
most part.
straight from the West Coast.
Yeah,
to
for the
Africa.
most part, African.
Cape Verdean.
Cape Verdean is what we're hearing, but that doesn't really show up on Ancestry like that.
Right.
And so my parents are like, oh, I said, oh, yeah. And it says I have this parent-child relationship with this woman. Care to explain? My mom, sweet lady, she says, well, son, we'll sit down one day and talk about it.
We go
said,
today.
That's me. I said, Ma, we are sitting. What are you talking about?
Today.
And then my dad, who is hilarious, my dad goes, well, you know, son, they steal babies from the hospital all the time.
My God.
So I said, stop it. Well, Dad, unless y'all stole me from the hospital, I don't think that's what we're talking about right now.
That's not what we're talking about right now.
And then my mom looks at my dad and she's like, well, Ronnie Sr., because that's my daddy's name, Ronnie Sr.
Okay.
She's Ronnie Sr. And my dad goes, no, son, we adopted you. We've had you since you were 3 days old. And you've been with us ever since. And that was that.
Now, do you have siblings or were you an only child?
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, that loaded question?
No. No, I don't believe in loaded questions. That didn't get passed down in the genes. No, so I was raised with 6 other siblings.
6?
So I am the last of 7.
Are they
I
all
was raised the last of 7.
Are they all adopted?
No,
they're biological.
they're biological, and they are a lot older than me.
All right.
A lot older than me. So
Okay.
my nieces and nephews and I, we are
All
closer
same
in age.
Gotcha.
Then my siblings are at least 21 years older than me.
So after 6 kids, then they adopted.
They just wanted to start over, I guess. It's the strangest thing to me.
We need one more.
The 6 are not
Aaron,
from.
don't do that. Don't do that.
Right. I was like, who does that? But the 6 are not from my dad. So this was my mom's second marriage, and my dad didn't have any children. So my assumption was she wanted to give him a child, and so they had me.
Aaron. Okay. At what point does y'all cutting up? Y'all cutting up. At what point does your mother realize the two of you have connected?
Ooh, that had to be a while. Like she took the DNA test and
Wait, stop. Y'all didn't tell her?
I don't really remember how she like.
yeah.
She had to know though, because I think her daughter told her. I think
Yeah.
Martina told her. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened.
But y'all
And,
don't know
they
for sure.
questioned her.
I don't know.
Of course.
We might need to go back in the text messages
Go
at
back.
this point because I don't remember.
Yeah, I think that's how it went. Because I connected with Martina. Her mother took the DNA test, and then Ronnie took the DNA test. And he connected with the half sister Martina as well. And so within that, she started questioning her mother because she asked her mother. Her mother said, "Yes, I
Like,
might
Ma,
have
all
one."
these people keep showing up
Oh
saying that
man,
you their mama.
right,
Like,
right. And yeah, I mean, she took and her response were, "It looks like we're related."
Why we can't just why we can't just tell the truth?
it's shame the devil. Why?
We can't.
That's it,
Why?
And that's all. We never asked her for anything. It
Yeah, I
was
get
just, just communication, just trying to figure out what happened. You
what
say you were
happened.
through.
What
That's it.
happened? That's it.
That's
now, do we
it.
know what happened?
We have conflicting stories.
Correct.
Of course you do, because why would you not?
Why would we have the same stories? So our birth mother and birth father were teenagers. That is the fact. We do know that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
And
hold on. I'm sorry. So the three she had are younger than you.
correct. Not much younger, but they are very few years younger than Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I, because we're only a year apart. But they're just like maybe 4.
May I ask how old you are?
Oh yeah, I'm 30. I just turned 36 in August.
And I'm 34. I'll be 35 in December.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
And so I think her
Ronnie.
oldest is like 30-ish.
Okay, so it's not okay.
It's not a huge age difference.
Not a huge age difference.
But their stories, again, because it's 30 plus years, they're just conflicting whether, oh, I didn't know she was pregnant. Oh, she said the baby didn't happen. Oh, they're two.
Well,
What the facts that are in alignment are this: they were teenagers, and she made the decision to move forward with adoption for both of us. Those are the most consistent facts.
Based on what you just said, so that means you also have made contact with your father. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
Aaron. Aaron, we're going to let Aaron take this one. We're going to let Aaron take this one.
Oh, no.
Y'all cutting up tonight. Y'all
No.
cutting up.
So we did make contact. I think, it had to be a couple months, but the three of us, me, Ronnie, and him, jumped on a Zoom call together, and we, talked for a little bit, maybe like an hour and a half or so.
Was he receptive?
Yeah, a little too receptive,
Ooh,
I mean,
explain. How so?
we're
Don't
grown
act-
up. I mean,
Don't act like
just,
that, Ronnie. Okay.
I know, Roddy. Well, I mean, at this time I was 32 maybe, 31,
Okay.
32. Ronnie being 33 around that age. We weren't looking for a father figure, but I feel like he was trying to project that on us. Like he wanted to be a father figure. But we too grown for that, I'm sorry,
I hear
not
you.
sorry, but just is what it is.
It is
Just
what it
is what it
is.
is.
Would you like to have a relationship with him? Not a father. Never mind, Ronnie.
No,
I mean, I'll answer it.
Ask Aaron. Aaron is the person to ask. Aaron.
I mean, for me, the relationships I do have, it's gotta be genuine, and it has to be beneficial for both of us. I feel like that relationship at the moment isn't beneficial for both of us, nor is it genuine.
Mm.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I get that.
Good way to put it. Good gracious.
It's a good answer. What?
That was good answer. Good
Come
answer.
on.
Thank you. I'm media trained, guys.
Right.
Yes, clearly. I agree with Aaron, but I also feel like I am too old to be having to see through the weeds. And these are our birth parents are two people who have a long history together. And their stories, although not all clear, what I do know is their stories are very much intertwined and have been so since before us. So his current wife has history with our birth mother. Her current husband has history with our birth father. So it's all intertwined. Okay. So for me, I want adults to be adults and let's sit around. Let's, break bread, have a little food. Everybody grab a cocktail and let's have a conversation, because if your stories lined up, this would not be a need, but these are completely different stories. And for me, I don't want to be lied to.
Right.
And so that's frustrating for me. And so it's like, either we can all sit down and have a real conversation, or we can't. And if we can't, then I don't know how to move forward in genuineness.
Ooh, come on.
Or authenticity with these people.
Absolutely. Yes. I totally understand, because I have that story too.
Oh.
I have to come on your show.
Can we hear your story? Or
on your show.
Okay.
When I come be guest on your show.
Say less.
Say less.
Got you. Say less.
So Ronnie, now you are a late discovery. Now that you found out, how you feeling?
Everybody asked that, like, are you okay or anything like that? Here's the thing. I have two of the most amazing parents in the world. And when I asked them, like, well, why didn't you guys tell me? And they said they didn't want it to negatively affect me. They didn't want it to ever stop, whatever it was that I was doing in life, whether I was going to school or doing this or getting a new job. They didn't want it to hinder. And then once it got a little too late, it was like, when is the right time?
Let me tell you why that's dangerous, though.
Yeah, tell me why, because I almost appreciate it, to be honest.
Let me tell you why that's dangerous, because first of all, they have an old school mentality about that. They come from the generation of secrecy and shame.
Correct.
But the reason why that's dangerous is because, and why I'm an advocate for telling people like Aaron, and even myself, I was told very young, you possibly could have resented them and felt like, what, you've been lying to me all this time. I don't even know who I am. That could have went a whole other way. Now, thank God it did not. It may be because you're 33. Imagine finding out at 18.
Correct. And that, I think,
that's dangerous.
It can be very dangerous. So I am always, I feel like you never know how a child's going to react. And so I work in the education field anyway. And so we say, talk to kids about those hard topics. So when they're at the age to say, oh, instead of ill, you know what I'm saying? So just talking there, because when you're at a certain age, you're like, oh, okay. And you keep playing.
But what I find interesting that even at 33, you're still like, okay, now I need some answers. Now that is not going to change.
Yeah.
Even at 33, 36, 30, you're still like, I need the story.
I need the story. I need it to match up.
And I need it to match up because I need to understand what happened. And that is a part of us as adoptees figuring out our identity.
Right. Yes.
We need to understand.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. So get that dinner together. I probably need to be there too. I don't have nothing to contribute. I just want to know
well, if you want to get the people together, because at this point, the relationships are rocky.
We've tried. I mean, we've offered it to both sets of birth parents about, coming together and having a conversation. We're all adults here. We should be able to have these conversations.
How old are your parents?
Ooh, they're about what? So
Our
I'm 30.
birth parents
60s
are
probably, 50.
52, 53,
I'm just trying to see, because see, they're on that tail end of that
53.
generation. Kind of, they right there on the cusp
Right.
of that same generation. That
Yeah.
mentality is what I'm
Yeah,
thinking about.
they're 50. They're in their early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know. It's really, really weird. I think that they're just not. It's something that they haven't had to deal with, and they've been able to either tell lies or keep the secret or hide the shame. They've been able to do that for over 3 decades, and now it's like, oh shoot, like we got questions to, and it's not, we can't just answer them to these two young men. Now we got to
Right.
tell
We
our
got to
sisters
unravel
and our cousins and
Mm-hmm.
our aunts
everything
and
and
this
everything.
and my
Because
and I gotta tell my husband who doesn't know, but I won't go there either.
Ooh, the shade.
I gotta tell my wife who knew possibly about one, but we won't go there on tonight.
The violence today.
hot.
Ronnie chose violence this
He
afternoon.
woke up and chose all the violence.
No, I
He
spit facts.
said,
Everything I say is factual.
Yeah, I
facts,
mean,
So
and
facts.
that's how we are. Like, you know, me and Ronnie's relationship is A1. Like, you know, even
I
our
love
relationship
that.
with Martina is A1. But you know, the other two contributors, I personally can't say. I've never met the lady. I will say that I've never met her. I've met him, but I haven't met her.
Why?
I
why,
don't need
Aaron?
to. I'm a strong believer in, you know, you show me who you are, I should believe it.
One time.
You know,
And then,
because once you show me that not only you're a liar, and I mean, I can't speak on it. Maybe there is some PTSD or mental block that has, you know, stopped her from, you know, wanting to acknowledge what happened. But it got to start in her household first. And once that happens, and you know, she can come back in a circle. It'll probably never be, you know, great, but it definitely, we can have a conversation. I just have no need to want to meet up with her. I never look for a mother. Like I said, I was raised by my mother, so a mother was something I wasn't looking for, and
right.
I was
And
wishing
I don't
it was
think,
Oprah.
I feel like, okay, I'll speak for me personally, because I found my maternal side. I'm in the process of finding my paternal side. I'm waiting for my DNA test to come back. Whew, no, don't worry, it's gonna play out on the, y'all will know. I'm gonna do it all on Instagram. But I feel like that too. I had a good childhood. I wasn't looking for a mother.
Mhm.
I too have a full brother who I knew existed.
Okay.
And but he ain't know nothing about me. I was the family secret.
Ooh.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna come on the show. Don't worry about it.
Let me mark our calendar.
As I've invited myself onto your show.
Oh yeah, no, you're welcome onto the show.
You are welcome to the show. Come sit at the pit. We just ask you to bring something to drink, or you know the rest.
I got you. So I get that sentiment. I
Mhm.
wasn't looking for a mother. I just wanted to know who I was, who I am, not who I was, who I am, because I didn't grow up looking like anybody. Even though I had the bomb childhood, you know, I had everything I ever wanted and then some. And grew up in a very tight-knit family, like,
Mhm.
but it didn't take away that curiosity.
Mm.
Who am I? What do these people look like? Where do I get some of these traits from? Because I recognize there are things that I do that they didn't do. I'm interested, right? You didn't pick up on any of that? Like, not that you felt out of place, but I do things a little differently, or
So a lot of it contributed to me having my own dad versus my siblings not having the same dad. So I am very much in the South we say you feed them till they look like you, or do we feed them till you like. I'm very much my dad's son.
Mhm.
Like
I
we
get
are,
it.
my mom always feels like we double team her because she feels like it's us against her. We are similar with people.
Gotcha.
We're just very, very, very similar. So a lot of the things that me and my dad would always joke, like, you know, that's your mama's kids, them your wife's kids, you know. So they were different, but you know,
okay, I
that was
understand
why.
that.
So that's why I always, and my dad does not come from a big family. My dad has one brother, and my uncle never had children.
Okay.
That we know of, because at this point, you never know.
Because who knows? People
Who
coming out the
knows?
woodworks.
People coming out the woodworks. But so I didn't have much to compare it to with, like, I didn't have any first cousins or anything like that. So
what about you, Aaron? Did you go through that? I know you knew you were adopted, but did you recognize some of the traits that maybe you did things a little differently?
Yeah, everything.
Oh,
Like, I mean, I really just feel like I am completely different than the family I was raised with.
did you feel out of place?
At a young age, I did. I felt out of place, you know, searching for who I am, what I like, what, you know, because I had nothing to model it after. I did at certain times try to find a father figure as far as like my uncles and stuff like that. But, you know, always, sometimes I struggle with it now, trying to figure out who I am. I mean, it's still something to this day that I battle with, but.
Okay. Do you think, being that that's something you deal with even to this day, do you have kids?
I do. I have a 15-year-old daughter.
Oh, you all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's great.
Okay.
You know,
I know that's that age.
she's pretty good. Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know,
Okay.
but she's pretty good. But you know, I couldn't ask for anything more from her. She enjoyed school. She's in the color guard, all that good stuff. So,
It was too.
there you go. There you
I
go.
wanted to know though, just growing up like that and feeling like that, how do you think it's affected you as being a father?
Ooh, that's a good one. My daughter doesn't live with me, but I do talk to her.
Okay.
5-6 days a week, you know, see her when I can. I just came back from her homecoming game last week, so
Okay.
I try to be a role model as far as something positive for her.
Absolutely.
Everything I do does, you know, I put her in my decisions as far as like what would she think if I did it? How does she feel about me? Because I do travel for work too. So, you know, with me being gone all the time, not being able to speak with her all the time. So I think about that. So I do, you know, try to be someone that she can talk to all the time.
Now I have a question for both of you. Did you both experience, what was it like when you experienced seeing someone that looked like you for the first time? Because y'all do look alike.
Everybody says that.
Y'all do. I'm looking at you. You do.
No, people think that. It was, and we actually talked about it on episode 3 of our podcast, I think. It was like the craziest thing, like, because we both kind of, so we walked into the restaurant. I was there first. Me and my partner were there, and then Aaron and his wife came in after us. And I remember seeing them for the first time in person, like in pictures. You know, I had scrolled through his social media. I'm like, okay, yeah, he does kind of look like me, but maybe it's just his angle. Who knows? And then when I seen him in person, I'm like, you really kind of do look like me. And he's like, no, you look like me. I'm like, but I'm the oldest. So literally, you look like me.
Literally, yeah, you look. What about you, Aaron?
I'm the upgraded version.
Okay.
Lie.
I love the sibling thing. What about you, Aaron? What was that like?
It was the same thing. We, you know, met at one of our favorite spots that we frequent to this day. We met there and we sat, you know, in a booth directly across from each other, and we just really were
you just stare at each other.
Yeah, and then, you know, just the conversation.
Wait, hold on. I didn't ask this early on. Are you guys? Do you live close by each other?
Close enough.
4.5 hours away.
Yeah.
That's close enough.
That's close. So we see each other
all the time.
Typically at least once a month. We've gone a little long this time. We just seen each other in August for my birthday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was the last time we seen each other.
Okay. I asked that question because when I had that experience, it was the walking full of a room full of people, and I can see myself after growing up, not ever seeing anybody. The first time I ever saw anybody that looked like me was my son.
Oh, wow.
That was my very first time ever experienced that. And then that was in 95. And then I didn't find them till 2012.
Oh.
And so I was like, this is wild. And it's just those little things, because when you grow up, with your people, you don't think about that because you're looking at people all the time.
Right.
But to see somebody that looks like you.
I think for me, it was like the first time somebody who did not know us, did not know our story, the first time somebody else said it was like, wow. So I think you guys were here, and you and I went to the grocery store, and the lady was like, you two must be brothers. Y'all look just alike. And then we both looked at, she was like, you think so? But that was, for me, that was like that bigger moment, like, wow, like, no, like, this lady not lying to us. She don't know us. She doesn't know our story. So it's like, it's not like our friends and family who could be pacifying us, saying, oh, y'all do look alike.
I see it.
No, you do. I see it. Okay, so my final question for both of you, and you can answer together, you can answer separately. Give a message to our fellow adoptees out there. If you had to say anything to them, what would it be?
Be prepared.
Ooh, come on.
But be prepared. But I mean, it's I would have never thought how great of a feeling it has been to actually find my older brother or have somebody that's full blood with me, and establish a relationship with that person and how that looks. So I mean, I know it can get scary, and even for the people who have friends that were adopted, to just support them in their journey, and don't be judgmental, but also when you meet these new family members, be open to their response, because everyone's relationship's not going to be like Ronnie and I's. You see it on TV shows where the mother's not ready to do it with the child, or vice versa. So be open and be ready for the outcome and buckle up. But it takes two sides, and communication is definitely key. If you're not comfortable with meeting at a certain time, express that, because no one can really judge you for that. But that's the advice I would give.
I love that.
That's such good advice, dog.
I know. He's in his bag.
I know. How do I? No. I think my advice would be, I'm a person who's big on boundaries, and so I think going into it while open, you have to know what you're willing to and able to handle. You have to know yourself. So like that self-awareness, like, you can't jump head first into, let me get to know this one, and you're not really ready, or you're doing it because you feel like you should, or you're doing it because it's on the other person's time. Like, take some time to really be aware of what it is that you want, what it is that you need, so that you can be your best and authentic self when going into whatever situation, is probably like one of my biggest. And then the other two is grace and empathy. Like, give yourself grace, give empathy for other people. No one knows how to navigate these waters. No two adoptee story is the same. And so we are all just trying to figure it out, and being understanding that, our birth parents were teenagers, right? So it's like, I can extend some grace and empathy to them, because I don't know what it's like to have a child at, 16 to 17 years old and have to put them up for adoption and then live my life as if it didn't happen. Like, I don't know what that's like. So I have to give some empathy to the 16 to 17-year-old boy and girl who were children making really big decisions, right? And give yourself grace, because if you're not ready, you don't have to be. If you are ready and they're not ready, it has nothing to do with you. That's on them. So give yourself grace, give empathy, but know what you can handle, and move at your pace, is what I would say.
I'm sorry. Aaron, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry. I was moving stuff around. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was listening and then I had dropped something. I dropped a coin. I don't know. I'm quiet now.
Now she'll have to edit that out. But no,
No.
that's my advice.
I'm not editing anything out.
Oh, we don't either. That editing gets frustrating.
And nothing. So listen, I have enjoyed the two of you. I appreciate you accepting my invitation to come on the show.
Yes.
Y'all
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I send many blessings to your podcast.
Thank
Y'all
you so
keep
much.
doing what you're doing. I see you.
Thank
And
you.
until next time, bye, family.
Bye, family.
Bye, family.